Welcome to Australian basketball history. Why don't we start with your name, where you're based and how long you've been playing basketball?
My name is Jan Smithwick and I'm based in Melbourne and been playing basketball for about 58 years.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jan. Your nickname is Snoopy. Is it okay for us to refer to you as Snoopy today?
Yes, well everybody else seems to in basketball, so that's fine.
So we're up here on the Gold Coast at Coomera Indoor Sports Centre, competing in the 2024 Pan-Pacific Masters Games. 16,000 athletes from 37 countries are competing in 40 sports. One of those sports is Masters basketball. And Snoopy, you're representing the Butterflies, which is the most iconic and most revered team in women's Masters basketball. How's the team going?
Yes, we've got two teams up here. I'm playing in the 65s. We've played 3 games at this stage and we've won the 3. One was by a point, which was a little bit scary for a while, but yes, our other team has won all their games. So.
Oh, fantastic. And good luck for the games ahead. We're only at day 4. Who's in your team, some of the players?
Sandra Tomlinson, who was one of the original Butterflies. We've got Jenny Gay, Jenny Connolly, Gail Henderson, which is a pretty good help, being with her size. It's Janet. A couple of surnames I don't know because they're new to this tournament. Gail, Deb Layden and Leonie. I think I've got everybody there.
And do you fancy your chances for a medal in either team?
We'll probably play Shewins today, and that will be a big test. It always seems to be Shewins and us that play off for the gold. So, yeah, that we'll see how we're going, I guess.
And in addition to playing here at the stadium and at Runaway Bay, will you get a chance to have some fun as well?
Yes, I don't think we ever go to the Masters without having a bit of fun. That's what it's all about too, isn't it?
Well, take us back to the start. We caught up with Sam recently, Sandra Tomlinson, and we are keen to hear your version of the origins of the Butterflies in those early days. Where did it all start?
I think we got a phone call. Brisbane Worlds was the first, and they asked us if we were interested in putting a side in. So a group of girls, we all got together and went up to the Brisbane Masters, and that would have been our first Butterflies trip.
And there's been many since then.
Well, I think that was 91, so yes, there have been many since then.
And they've included Australian Masters Games and Pan-Pacific Masters Games, but also World Masters Games.
Yes, there's been, I think it's 6 World Masters Games. There's the Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. We went to Turin in Italy and Portland, Oregon, the USA.
Were you on board for all of those?
I was. I was packed and ready to go to New Zealand, but my husband decided to have a heart attack before. But yeah, the girls went to New Zealand and did really well there too.
Tell us about the club culture, both on and off the court.
Well, I guess it was a group of friends that started. We were all very close. We'd played Australian basketball together and Victorian championships together and Victorian state teams. And obviously, slowly players have dropped out through injury and different reasons. And I guess now it's just people that we've been playing domestic with, and you know, people that we've enjoyed their company and they can play basketball and we like winners. So yeah, it's just sort of progressed from there.
And there's always a lot of logistics behind these basketball clubs that compete at tournaments. Who's the driving force behind the administration and putting it all together these days?
I guess at the start it was Sandra and then Faye Campbell and now Jenny Connolly. And we've got a few younger ones in the team. They sort of organise the accommodation and we're slowly getting them a little bit more involved. So hopefully they'll continue on with the Butterflies.
Why don't we go back to the start of your basketball journey? What's your earliest basketball memory?
I only started playing basketball when I was about 14. prior to that, I'm from the country, from Hamilton, and prior to that, we only knew, well, basketball was netball back then. So I was very involved in netball in the country. And I've got two brothers. My brother came home one night. He said, I've just played, they were footballers, and he said, I've just played this great game, you'd love it. He said, it's better than netball because you can, so much more to it. And I went down and watched him play one night, and I thought, this is a great game. So I got a group of friends together from school, and that's how we started. We put in a team and never looked. Gave up basketball, I think, netball the next season, and just from there.
Was this a school team, or was it?
We had to sort of join a club, so we put in a team as a club, and then of course it went from there to Country Week and then they, I guess, picked a couple of us players to send down to try out for the under-18 state team, and I guess that's where it all started.
So you get picked for Victorian under-18 girls teams?
Yes, I did, and then they rang and wanted, Tony Gaze was coaching the team, and Karen Maher rang me and he said, Tony wants you here the second year. I said, look, because it was very hard. I had to come from Melbourne each weekend, and with school and things, other commitments, to go to Melbourne each weekend. But they talked me into it. They got me a job at the Victorian Basketball Association, working for Lindsay. So I ended up moving down to Melbourne when I was 16, 17.
What kind of work were you doing for Lindsay at the time?
Secretarial work. Started off as, actually it's quite funny, I couldn't type at the start coming straight from school, but office work, and Sandra was also working there, so just receptionist and typing.
You and Sam caught up with Lindsay about 6 weeks ago. It'd be great to provide our viewers with a bit of an update on how Lindsay's going.
Yes, look, he's good. I guess he's losing his eyesight a little bit, so he's finding that pretty frustrating. But Lindsay is always a storyteller, and he enjoyed that. He really enjoyed our visit and going back on the old times. But he probably finds it a little bit frustrating in the situation he's in. Yeah. But loved our visit, and we're going to try and do it again when we get back from the Masters. I'm sure we'll have some funny stories to tell him.
I'll send him regards from the entire Masters basketball community, which he helped create.
Yes, we'll do, yes.
So Jan, you're working at Albert Park, you're representing Victoria in, I guess, the state championships that were held at the time. Did you move into a major team in Melbourne?
Yes, well, Tony Gaze was coaching Comets at the time, so because he got me down for the junior under-18 team, he also got me to play with his club team, Comets. So that was a fabulous introduction to basketball in Melbourne, especially because they couldn't have wanted a better coach to start off your career.
What year was that when you joined the Comets?
That would have been about 68, 69, yes. Yeah.
In 1970 you get selected to play for the Opals in our Australian women's basketball team. Tell me about that experience. How did that come about?
I guess you just, they pick you from the competition and then training, camps, and yes, I was lucky enough to make the team.
What was going on in your life at the time, apart from work and Albert Park? Is there anything else particularly happening in your life at that time that you remember?
No, not really. It was just work, and yes, I was married, so I got married before that, but the first trip was to China. That was a very amazing trip. We were the first sporting group that were allowed or were invited to China. It was pretty amazing. I've never seen non-Chinese, yes, and it was quite funny. We went to see the pandas one day, the zoo, and there was a great big crowd. None of them were looking at the pandas, they were all looking at us, so it was very intriguing, yeah.
Do you remember any of the players that were with you on that first Chinese international tour?
Yes, well, there was Sandra Tomlinson, Marie Benny at the time, Sue Clark, Jenny Cheeseman wasn't. Karen Ma, Jan Morris, yes.
Was the next major tour South Korea, 1979?
No, not for me.
No?
I missed out on the next World Series.
Right.
And then as soon as that was over, then I got back into the Australian team. And the next World Series was Korea.
Right.
1981 is Bulgaria.
Yeah.
You went across for that and represented the Opals over there.
Yes, that was quite a disappointing tournament. That was the qualifications for the Olympic Games. We played America, USA and Bulgaria. So if you didn't win one of those two games, well, you go home. So we had the two games and we did quite well against USA. We lost by 9 or 10 points. And then, of course, Bulgaria being the home country, they were very strong too. So unfortunately, we missed there.
1981, the WNBL gets created. Do you have any recollections of that time?
It was great having a women's national league. The men had had theirs for quite some time. And our only competition prior to that, we used to have Australian championships and club championships. So they were sort of the only times that we would play against interstate players. So the WNBL was a terrific league to get started, and it's been successful ever since.
It has. It's just continued to flourish, hasn't it? And you're back at the Comets, right?
Yes, never left the Comets all through the playing career. I guess there were four core players: Karen Ma, Jan Morris, Tammy Good, and myself. We played all of our basketball careers club-wise together, but we did change clubs or associations, because in those days the financial situation wasn't all that great. So, we ended up going to Coburg, who were a bigger association, and helped us out with money and a stadium to play in with the National League.
And you win a championship with Coburg in 1985.
We did, yes. That was very exciting. That was at Albert Park Stadium. We were 18 points down in the first half. So at half time, I think the crowd were ready to leave. But we fought our way back and won by a point.
Did you play well?
In overtime.
Did you play well?
Yeah, part of the team.
That was close to the end of your career as a professional basketball player. Is that correct?
That was, yes.
Yeah, what were the circumstances leading up to, I guess, you pulling back?
I guess I was wanting to start a family, and that wasn't working. These days, of course, it would be a lot easier, I'm sure, but decided to give up the next World Series, which hindsight is always great, I probably should have gone, because the next year was Olympic qualifications, and then of course we were good enough to make the next Olympics as well. But still, your priorities are different then, and yeah, that's the reason I retired.
Even though you stopped playing at that level and stopped playing for the Opals, you would have continued to have watched their progress and their success on the international stage. Perhaps you can just talk about the way that Opals has matured and improved over time and achieved some amazing things.
Absolutely incredible. I guess the biggest difference that I noticed is the height of the players. When we were playing Australia, we just could not produce a player over 6 foot. Or Marie Benny was 6'2", I guess. And these days, with the height and speed of the big girls, it's just amazing. And they have just produced so much with that team, with Lauren Jackson and Penny Taylor and Christy Harrer and Michelle Timms and Robin Ma. They're just absolutely amazing, and what they've done for basketball is incredible.
Why is it that our women have been much more successful on the international stage than our men?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Tom Ma was a great coach, and he was the coach sort of a lot of that era. And I think we've always been underdogs too, and we've fought and fought. Even when we weren't winning games for the Australian team, we'd always get the comment, you know, you just give so much and try so hard. And I just think that's still the case with the Opals players. They just give it their all.
A few questions about you. So how would you describe your skills as a player?
Well, as a point guard, I guess one of my main skills, I suppose, I read the court and read the ball very well. And wouldn't say I'm the shooter, but I love setting up the other players to shoot, and defensively that was always one of my challenges as well.
Greatest of all time, player you admire the most?
I'd have to be Lauren Jackson now, I think, or Michelle Timms, Robin Marr, three of them. You can't sort of separate them. But I mean, Lauren Jackson is just the GOAT for sure. She's just been absolutely amazing.
Best player you've ever played with?
Karen Marr, probably Australian, within Australia, and probably Marie Benny internationally.
And best or toughest player you've competed against?
Jenny Cheeseman and I always used to have a good, I can't think of the names of the international players, but Jenny Cheeseman and myself, we always had a pretty good go at each other, and we were both pretty tough in our day, so I always loved playing Cheesy.
Where does the magic come from? What makes a great team?
I think getting on well together is a big start, because you're all there for the same reason. You want to do well, you want to win, and I think that chemistry between the players, and if they understand how they want to play and how they want to win, I guess with us we always had a core group of four, and you play with each other for that long that things just end up coming naturally.
The pinnacle of your playing career, or your professional playing career, what was that highlight moment for you?
I wish it was professional. I guess career was, we were quite successful in career. We finished fourth, and we beat on our way Italy and France, so that was a really good test for us. We played Korea for the bronze medal, and you've got a packed stadium full of Koreans, and you know, a lot of noise going on. And I wish I could remember the foul count and three throw count, but I can't. But it was very, very uneven. They had a tall girl, her name was Park, and she was just looked after very well, beautiful player. But I was just going through some cuttings before coming away, and there's an article that was in the Korean newspaper saying how the Australian team were robbed, which I thought was quite interesting. But that tournament to me was a highlight. It was well run, it was a great tournament.
When did Masters basketball start for you?
It would have been in 91. That's when the butterflies started. That's when I started playing Masters. We did Alice Springs a lot. It was lovely weather, and it was always lovely up there and social. So most years we did Alice Springs, and that's why, this is only my second time here at the Pan Pacs. So
you will have competed in lots of Aussie Masters games as well? Yes,
like I said, I don't think we missed an Alice Springs tournament. And then the Australian Masters, that was Brisbane and Melbourne, Adelaide, as it is now. We've been going to Adelaide.
What's ahead for you? Are you working towards the next tournament being Aussie Masters games in Canberra?
Haven't decided as yet. Like to keep going, but we keep saying this might be the last year, but we seem to all get together and go again, so we'll see what happens.
That last year keeps getting extended for lots of Masters basketball players. How's your physical condition?
Yes, look, I was very lucky as a player. I just didn't have injuries, but I've had 2 hip replacements. So it's the old arthritis and wear and tear, I suppose, and my knee is just sort of starting to get a bit.
What keeps you coming back?
The camaraderie and friendship, and being able to still, I suppose, get up and down the court. It was a good feeling.
Some words for encouragement. We've got more non-players than players. There's lots of mums and otherwise women who have, I guess, had careers or have, I guess, brought up a family, and now they're finding that they've got some time for themselves. What would you say to those potential players in order to get them encouraged and involved in the sport?
I'd just say get a group together, or try and find a team to play with, and just keep going. It's just great, you know. You've been running your children around, and now sometimes I've left home as well, so just get into it and just keep playing. The friendship that you get, the good times, and keep that body moving, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So.
These once a year big tournaments are great, but do you get the opportunity to play on a regular basis back at home?
I was playing Monday morning women's comp at Nuttawading, but they're all getting too young. You know, you're playing against 21, 22-year-olds, and some of them come from the championship grades, and it gets a little tough.
Nuttawading's the first stadium in Victoria to put on a genuine over 50s men's night now on Thursday night. Perhaps there's some hope that they'll do the same and find an opportunity for some mature age players to get together where we don't have to bump shoulders with those that are much younger than us several decades.
Absolutely, that would be fabulous. I think Australia need that badly. They need Masters competition and Masters games at the different stadiums. It would be great if you could just go on a weekly basis, once or twice a week, and play against, you know, well, close to your age group anyway. So yeah, I'd encourage the stadiums and basketball to do that for sure.
Snoopy, tell us about life when you're not playing basketball. What are you doing?
I lived in Adelaide for 11 years, and I got into a bit of golf there. But it's a very frustrating game, golf. And I had Ben, so he was younger too when I first started. So it's hard to play golf when you've got the little ones. But came to Melbourne, joined a club, and played for a while. But yeah, golf I don't think is my game. I thought I might try pickleball next.
Yeah, there's one of the players here, Mandy, who plays for Myths and Legends. I think she's based in Shepparton. She won a gold medal at the Aussie Masters game in pickleball and also won a gold in women's basketball.
Oh, really? Yeah, no.
Apart from that, how else do you keep yourself busy?
I love walking, do Pilates, and gym. Yeah, look, I don't know, time just goes. We've got a place down at the beach, so I love getting down there, and yes.
What's the plan, do you think? How long will you keep playing basketball, hopefully if your knee holds up?
Oh, as long as I can, probably, yeah. See, there's no real plans, but yeah, I'd love to still keep coming.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate your time today. It's been wonderful to hear your story. Thanks for making me an honorary member of the Butterflies, but otherwise play hard, and all the best of luck this week.
Oh, thank you very much, George.
Take care.
Thank you.